Vikram Sood, who's an advisor at the Observer Research Foundation. Vikram, welcome to the program. I wanted to ask you about this latest statement from the Taliban saying that some of its members, Sirajuddin Haqqani, the interior minister, he is on the United States most wanted list. And there are other members, the prime minister, for example, is on the UN blacklist. And the Taliban says that that goes in violation of the Doha agreement that the Taliban signed with the Americans last year. Is it true that the Americans did recognize the Taliban when putting pen to paper in Doha? And how much does that complicate things for Washington?
Well, actually, what the terminology that was used in the Doha agreement was a peculiar statement that they would make that the Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan, whom we do not recognize but is known as Taliban. And then the statement would be made about what the agreement would be. Like, for instance, they would say the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, which is not recognized by the United States as a state and is known as the Taliban, will not allow any of its members, etc., etc. I have not seen the statement that Taliban is referring to. Maybe it is there because I don't have the complete agreement with me just now. So there has to be a lot of good give and take at this agreement. And so I'm not sure whether this was there or not.
Sure, but recognition is completely critical because, I mean, we've been talking for weeks about the financial economic crisis the country is going through, the foreign reserves that it holds that have been frozen around the world. The United Nations does not, as a matter of principle, recognize governments that are formed after a country has been taken by force. Therefore, the Afghans and the Taliban would not have representation in the greatest talking chamber in the world, at the United Nations. I mean, what does the Taliban have to do to get this recognition?
You know, you start off with having a cabinet where 14 members are blacklisted by the United Nations. And that's bad enough. And that's how is that government going to be represented in the United Nations? So there has to be some show of faith, some show of promise. But that's going to be very difficult for the Taliban. How on earth can they not say that Sirajuddin Haqqani will not be on the cabinet?
Sure.
Or Akhund will be not in the cabinet. So
absolutely.
There is a logjam here.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe that's one of the reasons people are saying that the Taliban has announced an interim government, right? Because it's being careful about how it progresses. Just to go back to something that we were talking about with our correspondent, Ali Mustafa, how much does the Taliban still have to learn about governing a nation?
I think one hell of a lot. Because they have been all the time a guerrilla fighting force, an insurgent force. They have no experience of governance. So they have to go back a long way, learn a lot of things, maybe import talent to run their shows, and maybe from Pakistan, that they will import advisors to help them run the government. And that is a bit of a cleft stick because if the advisors continue to remain, then they become occupiers.
Vikram Sood, thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it. Vikram Sood from the Observer Research Foundation in New Delhi.